and whites with the red lettering and the blue trim. Samet Yigatolu coming off a 17-point, 10-rebound performance in a win on Tuesday over Pittsburgh. Loses the tip to Efton Reid and the Demon Deacons. Try to find Matt Cross on the baseline. Turn it over to Tyler Johnson, the starting point guard these days for the Deeks.
And Doug, I think a big thing for SMU tonight is being able to take care of the ball. Wake Forest guards do a great job of pressuring the ball.
And as you mentioned, Juke Harris into that starting lineup. The freshman misfires from the corner, tracks down his own miss, and it's a fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock.
And for Juke Harris, you can't be hesitant. If you have an open look, you have to take it. You have to be aggressive.
That man will be aggressive. One of the top scorers in the ACC, Hunter Sallis, averaging 18.5 points per game.
We know Sallis can score the ball in bunches. He's just going to have to be a little bit more aggressive tonight, looking for his own.
This is Chuck Harris, blocked by Reid. And here comes Wake Forest. Harris attacks along the baseline, cut off by Harris. Knocked out of bounds. It's an SMU takeaway.
But Doug, early on, the crowd's already into it, so SMU has an advantage right there. But defensively, SMU has continued to improve over the last 5 games, holding teams to 35% or under in each one of those games. So they're more than capable defensively.
Here's B.J. Edwards, more on his plate today. Miss from the corner by the man who moves into the starting lineup. Back into it, Kario Oquendo. Sallis fouled by Chuck Harris, who was among the many new faces here in Dallas for Andy Enfield in his first year after leaving USC to become the head coach of the Mustangs. And he just went into the transfer portal and hit a whole bunch of home runs.
Well, they got 4 1,000-point career scores, and he's known as an offensive genius, but again, defensively is where they really have to come together if they want to continue to improve the rest of this year.
Well, in their win on Tuesday over Pittsburgh, where they hammered the Panthers 83-63, while the offense was humming, their defense, especially in the first half, was just suffocating for the Panthers.
Well, especially when you start to get into tournament play. We're talking about conference and NCAA tournament. You have to have your defense clicking on all cylinders. Guys have to be communicating. You have to be aggressive, and you have to know your rotations.
Chuck Harris passes into a double team. The freshman from Turkey able to find the open man. Well done for SMU. Oquendo's got his first 2.
And that's where you got to be careful with Wake. If you're Wake, if you're going to double team Samet right there, you got to look at the cutters, and then you got to look at the long scrambles. Everybody on SMU's team can shoot the basketball.
SMU is one of just 3 teams in the country right now with 6 different players averaging double figures, along with Auburn and Gonzaga. But again, SMU's without its point guard, and one of those double-figure scorers in Boopie Miller thanks to a foot injury. Last to touch was Juke Harris. But how about Samet Yigatolu?
If you're Wake Forest and you're going to double team, you got to know there's going to be cutters. There's going to be open guys on the perimeter. It's a good find right there by Samet. Good cut by Oquendo. Good finish at the rim.
And there is Boopie, the 6-foot junior who was anticipating playing against his former team. He was a Demon Deacon last year. Matt Cross with a long 2. And the Mustangs take their first lead.
And selfishly, I wanted to see Boopie Miller play against his former team. Not only because he's having a great year, but just the rivalries that they had going against each other in practice. It just would have been a heated contest, so it's unfortunate that he's not able to play.
Parker Friedrichsen off the bounce. Just into the ball game, misses his first shot. Yeah, Boopie last year was a backcourt mate with Hunter Sallis, and they were as dynamic as any duo in the backcourt in the ACC. There's Boopie fired up off the 3 ball from Chuck Harris. It's a 7-0 SMU run.
Well, Doug, you see the matchup right there. Friedrichsen guarding Harris. If I'm SMU on the offensive end, I'm giving the ball to Harris every single time you're attacking that matchup.
Edwards takes it away. He's among the league leaders in steals per game. Sets up Oquendo. And that's the type of pace and tempo the Mustangs want to convert. They'll turn you over, and Edwards is as good as anybody in the conference.
And they're such a good team, Doug, of getting out in transition, even when they don't create turnovers. So when they're able to create turnovers and turn that into transition, they're just a much better team. And then obviously Oquendo in the transition, super athletic, getting to the rim and can shoot the ball with the best of them.
He had 17 in the win over Pittsburgh on Tuesday, where he was 4 for 6 from behind the three-point line, and he's one of those 1,000-point scorers after spending 2 years at Georgia, and then last year coming off the bench for the Oregon Ducks, and now transferring to SMU for his final season. It's an SMU offense that is tops in the ACC at 83 points per game, 48% shooting from the floor, 39% from the arc. Juke Harris left wide open, and he is begging as he goes back up court as that was halfway down.
But despite the 3 misses, I like him being aggressive because all 3 shots were great looks.
No relation. Chuck Harris with his second field goal. It's 10-3. SMU on a 10-0 run. He has him out at least for today, it looks like. He is dressed and could come in. But what you and I saw first during shoot-around earlier this afternoon, and then when he came out and tried to get loose pre-game, he clearly is not anywhere near 100%.
Well, to be honest, the loss of Hilder is more of a loss than it would be Boopie Miller for SMU. He's the heart and soul of this team. He's the best defender, and he's a much improved scorer on the offensive end.
Efton Reid gets his first touch inside, misses with the left-handed hook shot.
And that's what Wake Forest has to do. They have to try to establish some type of inside out so they can collapse the defense and then be able to get those kicks out. Kickouts will result in long closeouts in driving lanes.
SMU has scored on its last 5 possessions for this 10-0 run, but that streak is snapped on the turnover. Pass just a little too tall for B.J. Edwards.
And Doug, for SMU, you just have to get ball movement side to side. Everybody is capable of passing, shooting, and driving the basketball. Get some good movement, see where the openings are, attack the openings, and then make the good decision.
Got to look at Andy Enfield, the 55-year-old native of Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, 2,000-point scorer during his days at Division III Johns Hopkins University. Parker Friedrichsen still struggling to find the range this season. Edwards finds the open man in the corner. It's Chuck Harris for 3.
And that's where SMU really excels at. Every guy has the ability to get into the paint, play off 2 feet, kick it to the corner to Harris, who's more than capable of knocking down a 3-point shot.
So 13 straight points scored by SMU. Wake Forest has had 6 consecutive empty trips. Trying to end that, Tyler Johnson leaves his feet, bad pass. 5 on the shot clock. Spillers. Reid able to bat it back. Sallis for 3. And the Deeks continue to fight on the offensive end. Friedrichsen will try his hand and connect.
Much needed make for Friedrichsen. He's been struggling shooting the ball all year long. And with SMU really locked in on Sallis, who are the other guys that are going to come up, step up? This is an opportunity to be able to get more playing time, a la Duncan Powell at Georgia Tech, who took advantage of the injuries. Now who's going to step up for Wake Forest?
Matt Cross is as versatile as almost anybody in the ACC. The 5th leading rebounder in the league, can step out and knock down shots. He's got 6 double-doubles already this year. Sallis off the curl, no. Reid again with a tap back to Sallis, and they'll reload.
They're getting all these second-chance opportunities. You have to be able to do something with it. It's a great drive right there by Tyler Johnson. That's what he's capable of doing, getting in the lane, making plays, play off 2 feet, and get a floater. He has to be able to take care of the ball tonight, Doug.
Cross off the feed from Edwards. Left it short. Well, number 0 in white, SMU, how much more does he have on his plate on both ends of the floor than normal without Boopie Miller playing, Eric?
Well, he's guarding the best player on the other team, usually anyway. But offensively, he's used to scoring the ball, just being in attack mode where Boopie Miller is setting everyone up. Now he has more ball handling duties. He has more decision-making duties. And it could be a lot for a player, but I think he's more than capable of it.
Here's Edwards, a second-year Mustang. Sallis stripped it away. Sallis, I think, was standing on the baseline when he touched it. And so it's SMU basketball underneath with 14 seconds on the shot clock.
And Doug, to your point for Edwards, you don't want to just turn into a passer. You want to continue to be aggressive, looking to score the ball. And when you do that, you just have to be able to make decisions, see where the helps come from. Is it a kick? Is it a drop? And he's more than capable of making those decisions.
Well, B.J. Edwards began his college career at the University of Tennessee. He is a Knoxville native. Didn't get a lot of minutes on the Sweet 16 team in 2023 for Rick Barnes. But he is a key contributor again this year for the Mustangs. First 2 points for B.J. Edwards. It's 18-10 SMU.
Doug, I just really like the makeup of this SMU team. When you get into tourney play, you need to have great guard play. And SMU has great guard play, and they also have inside scoring with cement.
And now Tibet Boriner, also from Turkey, into the game for the first time. And Sallis puts up a wedgie.
Yeah, Sallis just have to continue to be aggressive, miss or make. You just have to continue to look to get in the paint. If you have open opportunities on the perimeter, you have to shoot them.
So Wake Forest, under the direction of fifth-year head coach Steve Forbes, going to go into some full-court pressure here. Or no, check that. On the alternate possession, they keep possession after the wedgie. And so Friedrichsen. That, again, was the element Wake Forest expected from Friedrichsen coming off his freshman year.
Now, Friedrichsen just hitting those 2 3-pointers. Now SMU has to change the defense up a little bit, pay more attention to him, which will open the court up a little bit more for drivers like Sallis and Johnson.
Jarrell Colbert, number 20 in white, on the screen and roll, gets the pass back, but has it poked away by Sallis. Out of bounds to Wake Forest. SMU with a foul
from Reid. And then on the other side, SMU, B.J. Edwards, he's going to have more ball handling duties, more decision-making duties. But offensively, SMU will be all right. It's defensively where they have to lock in and really come together as a team.
Yeah, these two teams are 4th and 5th coming into the day in the ACC standings, and the top 4 teams, when we get to Charlotte for the ACC tournament, will receive double byes. Third turnover committed by the Demon Deacons, and you can see on the face of Steve Forbes, this is a quad 1 game. They have to get this to further build their resume.
For both teams. I mean, both teams are looking out, trying to get into the NCAA tournament. So a loss for one of these teams means I'm looking and thinking more about the NIT than the NCAA tournament.
Boriner, his first 2 coming off the bench for the Mustangs, who rattled off 13 unanswered points earlier tonight to build the lead. Wake Forest, though, got consecutive 3-pointers from Parker Friedrichsen off the bench to hang in there. Here goes Hunter Sallis. Juke Harris in the starting lineup tonight in place of Cameron Hildreth. Driving strong to the basket, and the freshman from Salisbury, North Carolina, has his first points of the night.
And Doug, we talked about other players stepping up, having opportunities. When injuries happen, you don't like to see it, but it creates opportunities for other guys. Talking about Juke Harris, talking about Tibet from SMU stepping up and getting more chances to score the ball, and going forward, extended playing time.
Friedrichsen lost it, and here comes the Pony Express again. The ACC's leading scoring team at 83 points a night. Edwards left alone, and he missed it.
Yeah, Doug, for SMU, they want to play with pace and they want to play with space because they have guys who can create opportunities with the ball, guys who can drive and shoot. They just have to, in the half court, move the ball from side to side and create those opportunities.
Now, Wake Forest trying to come back from its crushing loss to Florida State on Wednesday, 72-70, a game that for the first 35 minutes looked like the Deacs couldn't lose, and yet they found a way to lose. And when we get to Selection Sunday, a month from tomorrow, as Friedrichsen delivers his 3rd triple of the game. We may look back at that game on Wednesday, and if the Deacs are on the wrong side of the cut line, that loss to Florida State might have been the dagger.
That might have been the dagger. Up 15 with 10 minutes left in the second half. Florida State's best player fouled out with 8 minutes left. They should have secured the win at home. Couldn't get it done.
Matt Cross can't answer at the other end for SMU, and Wake Forest can tie or take the lead. They trailed by as many as 10 early. Inside they go to Reid, draws a crowd, and Oquendo's going to be called on the reach-in foul. Well, you were a shooter in college, Eric, back at Syracuse. You know what it's like when all of a sudden the ball starts going in.
Next man up mentality. Friedrichsen hasn't been shooting the ball good at all this season, but next game, next shot, that's what Friedrichsen has to do. He's a shooter, and you see he's already have 3 3-pointers in the first half here for Wake Forest.
Well, he's the all-time leading scorer in the history of Bixby High School in Oklahoma. He put up over 2,100 points as a high schooler. You know he can fill it up.
He can score the basketball, and sometimes shooting is more so mental, right? You miss a couple shots, now your confidence goes down. He hits these 3 threes. Now his game's at a whole other level, and more importantly, SMU has to adjust their defense.
Sallis is fouled and will shoot 2. Yeah, Friedrichsen came into the game making only 21% of his threes. Missed his first tonight, but to his credit, kept firing, and he's made 3 in a row. That's the first foul on Goriner to send Sallis to the free throw line. The senior from Omaha, Nebraska, 3rd leading scorer in the ACC, misses the front end. Next Saturday here on ACC Network, it's a men's basketball triple header beginning at 2 Eastern with Georgia Tech and BC, followed by number 23 Clemson here in Dallas to take on SMU, and finally it'll be Virginia Tech and Miami at 6 Eastern from Coral Gables. Sallis gets 1 out of 2. Wake now on a 6-0 run to make it a 1-point game.
And Doug, it's so important for Wake just to hit a couple of jump shots. They're more so a driving and attacking team in half court, but if you make a couple of jump shots, now the defense loosens up a little bit. Those lanes get a little bit bigger for those drives.
Eric, you've been talking about opportunities. Goriner sets up Keon Ambrose Hilton, one of the tri-captains, off the bench with some offense.
Well, all SMU's forwards are versatile, mobile. They're capable of putting it on the ground. They can shoot the ball a little bit. Next man up mentality.
Team Turkey combines to block that shot. Tibet Goriner from Istanbul, just like his teammate, the freshman Samet Yigatolu. It's a pretty tall wall to go up against if you're Hunter Sallis.
Well, if you're Sallis, you know there's a 7'2" guy there in the middle, but you just got to keep going. Eventually, one of those blocks is going to turn into a foul opportunity. So Sallis, keep attacking, keep being aggressive.
Good ball movement. Goriner misses. Omaha Bilou, the Iowa State transfer, into the game off the bench for Wake Forest. The Mustangs will keep. There's Omaha. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of Denison, Iowa, Waukee High School, but he never was able to keep himself in the rotation last year for the Cyclones. Decided for a fresh start and has missed most of this season thanks to a right foot injury that he re-injured a couple of times.
Well, right now, if I'm SMU, I'm looking at that matchup right now with Cement, and I'm going right down to him, giving him the ball, letting him attack the rim. And Bilou, he's another guy who's capable, right? He's a talented guy. He's 6'8", 225, big body, but just hasn't had a lot of time this year.
Now, Steve Forbes told us after shoot-around today that Bilou would be expected to play more minutes than the 24 total he has played in his 2 games back. Well, we talked about the fact that Joey
Devendorf here. Hey, Joe, I do it. I'm still upset my sophomore year at Syracuse. We went 8-2 our last 10 games, and we didn't get in. So I just wanted to let you know that real quick. But, Joe, my question is, go ahead. Yeah, so the committee was wrong, and you were right, Joe, 100%. But does a loss for one of these teams tonight, does a loss tonight for one of these teams mean NIT, especially with how the ACC has been this year?
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking time out of your day in the bunker back in Bristol. We look forward to your updates every time they hit our phone, and we will be talking very much in the next month and a day till Selection Sunday. We like that. We like that. That's Joey Brackett's joining us. And again, it is that time of year. We've got 2 bubble teams, and as Joe just said, the winner of this one at the end of the night will be in the field of 68. Wake Forest got off to a slow start here tonight. SMU rattled off a run early of 13 consecutive points, but the Demon Deacons, led by their all-conference guard Hunter Sallis, have retaken the lead at 26-25.
Doug, I like what Wake's doing on the defensive side of the ball, switching to a little bit of zone, trying to slow this SMU offense down, closing up the driving lanes, forcing them to shoot the ball with the hand up. And then offensively, Wake's doing a good job of just attacking the basket. If you attack the basket, the defense has to collapse. Now your shooters have to be ready to shoot the ball, and you have to be able to knock down open shots.
Juke Harris getting the start tonight in place of the injured Cam Hildreth. One of the better freshmen in the ACC this year. I was trying to make a case in my head where he might be able to sneak onto the all-freshman team, but it's going to be Cooper Flagg at Duke, Jeremiah Wilkinson at Cal, Con Knipple from Duke, maybe Kaman Malawach. I would think Igatolu, who we are watching tonight for SMU, would be on that team. Maybe Ian Jackson for North Carolina, but that doesn't mean Juke Harris hasn't put together a really solid freshman year for the Deeks.
Really good freshman year. I mean, he's 6'7", he has a big body, he's capable of scoring on all 3 levels. And tonight, he's super important for Wake Forest. He just has to be aggressive. Don't be hesitant. If you got an opportunity to go to the rim, take it. If you got an opportunity to shoot the ball on the perimeter, you have to take that as well.
Yeah, he was a top 100 recruit for Steve Forbes and his staff. Parker Friedrichsen back on the floor for the Deeks. Inside they go to Reid. Pass off the hand of Harris. Shot clock down to 6. Sallis rises up and puts up a brick. Just over 5 minutes to go in the half.
And shots like that for Wake Forest, you don't want to settle. You want to continue to be aggressive, and you have to look at the matchups. You have Matt Cross guarding Juke Harris. I think Juke Harris has the advantage right there.
Foul on Reid is his first. Well, Hunter Sallis, as Igatolu is slow to get up. He actually went down in Tuesday's game after rolling his ankle. They say that is not a problem today. Oh.
Yeah, Efton Reid, he's known being physical down there. And I mean, there's 2 7-footers. They're both 250 and above. It's going to be like 2 offensive linemen running into each other, Doug.
Play is under review.
It's going to be a physical game.
So Bill Covington, John Gaffney over at the monitor, 2 of our officials, to see if this will be a flagrant foul with that raised forearm or elbow from Efton Reid.
Well, you know what? And it's questionable because it was a little bit higher than the chest. If it was at the chest, it would have been a non-call. But if it gets up by the throat in the chin area, then you probably have to call it. Yeah, it was just a little bit above the chest. It was almost at the throat.
What do you think? We're going to get a flagrant?
I think it will be a flagrant. The forearm was just a little bit too high.
So they're the 2 big men who will play such a key role tonight. Efton Reid on the left, 7-foot senior from Richmond, Virginia, who came to Winston-Salem from Gonzaga a couple of years ago. And Samet Igatolu, who was so good in the win over Pittsburgh on Tuesday, 17 points, 10 rebounds in front of a couple of NBA GMs who were in the building that night. And he seems to be okay after taking that forearm up around the neck, and now the officials confer.
Well, Samet's a guy, he has good hands, he has good feet. You give him the ball in the post, he's capable of scoring the basketball, but he's a freshman. So Efton Reid, he's a senior, he's looking at it, we're both big guys, but he wants to set the tone, and you just got to be careful right there.
And he is every bit of 7'2", 265 pounds. His coach Andy Enfield said, yeah, his upside is getting to the NBA. So what's the word?
It's going to be a flagrant 1, 2 shots, ball underneath.
Kind of what we figured. And so Reid.
The previous foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul. 24 will shoot 2 shots. The ball will be placed at the end line, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Thank you.
Good explanation from Bill Covington. I do love that the NCAA has added that element that we've seen in the NBA the last couple of years, allowing the officials not only to tell us and our television audience, but the folks here in the building exactly what the decision was.
Well, Doug, especially if he's standing straight up. After he was standing straight up, then he kind of just went right to the chin area. If he kind of got a bend in his knees and then just went into his chest and the stomach area, it'd have been totally different.
Yatolu just a 61% foul shooter. He missed the start of the season, and Coach Enfield said it's taken him some time to get going, but he is so high on the upside for his freshman from Turkey.
And Doug, I think he's going to continue to work on his body, work on his agility, work on his mobility. Right now, he's already ahead of the game as far as offensively. When he starts to work on his agility, rim running, he's just going to be that much better and that much more appealing to NBA scouts.
B.J. Edwards playing the point tonight without Boopie Miller. Miller sitting out with a foot injury. There goes Edwards. High off the window for 2.
And Wake did a good job of having that extra defender in there on the help. But SMU's guards are just so good at being able to create on themselves. Tough runner in the lane over the outstretched arms of Reid. B.J. Edwards doing a great job finishing at the rim.
Well, the offense runs through Hunter Sallis, especially with Cam Hildreth out. He has scored or assisted on 20 of Wake's 27 points tonight. Here he sets up Friedrichsen off the pass fake. The shot missed on the front iron.
Wake Forest can't get into too much pounding the basketball. They have to move the basketball from side to side and try to create those opportunities with their ball movement.
Which by and large, Eric, we've seen that on both ends tonight, right?
Absolutely. Both teams are doing a good job of moving the ball, which for your offense creates opportunities to get to the rim or open jump shots.
These two teams came into the weekend in 4th and 5th place, just a half game apart in the ACC standings. The Mustangs at 10-3, the Demon Deacons at 10-4. Efton Reid.
That's what I think Wake has to do a little bit more. Go inside. Efton Reid is more than capable of scoring the basketball. He has that right hook over the left shoulder. We know he's capable of shooting a three-pointer, but get the ball inside. Try to get that balance inside out.
And he and Sallis really kind of came as a combo deal from Gonzaga a couple of years ago. Steve Forbes got a call from Reid's high school coach to reach out that while Forbes was out in Spokane recruiting Hunter Sallis, he wanted to tell him the big guy might be available too. So he wound up getting both highly recruited players, and they have been very good for the Deeks. That's a blocking foul against Juke Harris as and they live just a few miles from the campus, and they make it to as many Mustangs basketball games as they can.
Well, it's not every day that you get to meet a former president. I know his Secret Service there. He was eyeing me when he came over and shook his hand. So I was careful. You know, I shook his hand, and then that was it. I kept it simple.
Well, he's a well-known sports fan, former owner of the Texas Rangers, and so no surprise that he is a Mustangs fan and supporter. You know, I asked Steve Forbes before the game if he had met any U.S. presidents before, and he said he actually had met George W.'s father back when he was an assistant coach at Texas A&M. And apparently when Steve Forbes said his name to the former president, he said, "Did I beat you in a Republican primary?" Steve Forbes, of course. Different Steve Forbes.
Well, you know what? I could see Coach Forbes running for president. He talks enough.
He could run for office. Got to win more games, though, in Winston-Salem for him to win the election, I think. Yeah. They have won a lot of games. They just haven't been able to get to the NCAA tournament. And so, but he was very happy to talk about his brush with the former president. Well, we've got 2 great women's games for you Thursday night here on ACC Network. At 6 Eastern, 12th-ranked UNC meets Syracuse. And then at 8 Eastern, Virginia Tech hosts Stanford. It should be another big night of hoops. With Eric Devendorf, I'm Doug Sherman here at Moody Coliseum in Dallas. first-year ACC member SMU, among the better teams in the conference and very much in the mix for a possible spot in the NCAA tournament right along with Wake Forest.
Yeah, Doug, I think what Coach Forbes is so good at is his mindset, his mentality. He's a tough, hard-nosed coach, and his team really takes on his identity. They're hard-nosed, they're gritty, and they battle to the end.
Spillers with the rebound. Well, SMU has cooled off, Eric, after making 3 of the first 5 from distance. They've made only 1 since.
Well, that zone is really affecting them. It's closing up the driving lanes, it's shrinking the court a little bit, and it's forcing them to settle for jump shots.
There's that battle of the bigs inside. Reid and Yigatolu. This time it goes against the freshman from SMU. Pleading his case to no avail, I'm sure.
And Doug, I like that. It's a little old Big East feel. Real centers, giving it down, let them pound it a little bit. When you see the help come, kick out, hit the cutter. But that's what you want to see from your 2 7-footers, 2 big guys, physical, going at each other, attacking the rim, being aggressive. Don't always settle for that outside jump shot. Try to attack the rim and get opportunities to free throw line and get your teammates open.
Reid has his free throw rattle out. Here's B.J. Edwards, the junior from Knoxville, Tennessee, playing the point tonight in place of the injured Boopie Miller. Kario Oquendo. Good help side defense. Reid swats it out of bounds. SMU will keep with 14 to shoot.
Wake's just been doing a great job this first half, but just flying around, being aggressive. You see Reid right there with the block. Defensively, Wake's been locked in, switching from zone to man. But most importantly, they've just been active and they've been flying around.
And I like that Efton Reid made sure to check on our camera operator, who took the ball off the front of the camera on that play. SMU with a fresh 20 on the shot clock. Harris splits the double team down the lane. It opens wide up, but he can't make the layup. B.J. Edwards, though, can.
Well, that's one thing Wake can't do. They can't give SMU second chance opportunities. Their guards are too good. They're not going to get second and third chance opportunities and not convert.
Sallis has it poked out of bounds. Wake will keep it. Jarrell Colbert, the junior from Houston, trying to convince the officials he wasn't the last to touch it. But it'll be Wake ball on the side with 18 on the timer.
And I think Coach Forbes' game plan was to try to keep SMU in the half court. Don't let them get out and play fast how they want to play. Make them really work in that half court setting. Wake Forest has done a great job this first half of making them make plays in the half court.
Tyler Johnson, good shot fake. Got the second defender in the air and draws the foul on Colbert. It's been a quiet start to the ball game for Tyler Johnson, the Louisville transfer, sophomore out of Brooklyn, who Steve Forbes brought in to be his point guard this year. And so he'll head to the line. And again, Cam Hildreth, only a cheerleader tonight, one of the captains for Wake, out with a foot injury. It's his right foot that he just didn't want to put a lot of weight on during shoot-around this afternoon. And to his credit, he's a tough guy, came out and tried to go in the pregame warm-ups, and he did a lot of shooting on his own, but you could clearly see he was favoring it throughout.
Yeah, he's hurt, and not only one of the toughest guys in the ACC, but one of the toughest guys in the country. And with Hildreth out, Johnson, he's a talented guard. He has to be able to make good decisions, take care of the ball, but he's capable of getting in the lane, creating opportunities for himself and his teammates.
Johnson, a Brooklyn native who played his high school ball at St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey. Harris misfires for the Mustangs. Cross ties up Sallis, and it's a held ball.
I just like the physicality. I mean, I like guys getting after it. It lets me know that you're competing at a high level, and both of these teams' players compete at a high level. Right here, Sallis just going up and grabbing it with 2 hands, and Cross doing a good job of just getting in there, causing the jump ball.
Sallis with 12.7 rebounds, 4 assists to lead the way for Wake. Chuck Harris, 11 points for SMU. Colbert tries to tip it in, and a foul on the rebound. Yeah, Eric, the Mustangs have missed 12 of their last 13 three-point shots. This for the best shooting team in the ACC.
Well, again, Wake Forest is doing a good job of taking them out of their rhythm offensively. They're not able to get out and play at that fast pace, so those shots aren't in rhythm anymore. They're off of slow isolation plays, and Wake Forest, you got to give them credit. Defensively, they've been locked in this half.
Second foul on Tyler Johnson. He stays on the floor for now for Steve Forbes. Tibet Gorner returns for SMU. Oquendo takes a seat.
And two, Doug, SMU, they thrive off the pace, like playing fast. They're exciting. They're getting transition dunks, alley-oops. When they're in half court and at a slower pace, it's almost like they're falling asleep and it's not as exciting to them.
Timeout SMU. Andy Enfield wants to talk it over on this key possession late here in the first half. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 13th through the 23rd as ACC Unity Week. We welcome you back to Moody Coliseum here in Dallas, Texas, home of the SMU Mustangs. Good crowd here for this key ball game. Not only in the race in the ACC standings, they start the day 4th and 5th in the 18-team field, but also both these teams in the first 4 out. Joe Lunardi told us live earlier in the half when he joined us that the winner of this game will move into the field of 68 by the end of the night. And so where is SMU going to go for this key possession late in the first half, Eric?
We got to get some ball movement. You see Wake is back in the zone. You got to get somebody in that high post or try to get him behind the defense, but you don't want to settle for a jump shot right here. You want to get in the paint and get an opportunity right there.
Harris off the feed from Oquendo. Colbert skies for the offensive rebound. Plenty of time for SMU with the shot clock off. Oquendo's not going to wait. He was open, and why not let her rip?
Big shot going into half for SMU.
Johnson's shot beats the buzzer, but misses the iron altogether. Strong finish out of that timeout for the Mustangs, who take a 2-point lead into the locker room. Now,
and on the perimeter.
Neither team shot it particularly well in that first half, both under 40%. SMU came out flying, knocking down its 3-point shots, but then cooled off. Used a 13-0 run to open up a 10-point lead. Wake's biggest lead was at 3-0 early on. Tyler Johnson does a nice job to work his way inside, find Trayvon Spillers.
And that's what Johnson's capable of. He's capable of getting by his man, getting in the lane, and then creating for one of his teammates. Playing in half court favors Wake Forest. SMU has to figure out a way to try to create some turnovers and get out and play fast.
First 2 points of the night from Spillers ties the ball game at 34 apiece. Off the Oquendo miss, here come the Deeps. Same starting units in the second half as we saw in the first. Oquendo starting for SMU. Juke Harris in the starting 5 for Wake. In they go to Spillers, which seems to be a concerted effort to start this second half. And Cross is called for the foul.
Well, you see the pace that they're playing with. They don't mind walking the ball up, executing in the half court. Great job getting the ball inside. Great seal by Spiller. Just getting a low inside presence and then just going up strong to the rim, creating an opportunity for himself at the foul line. And
so Spillers, who is an all Sun Belt Conference first team performer a year ago for App State, when he averaged 13 points, 9 rebounds per game, makes the first. He has been a nice addition for Coach Forbes, averaging about 10 and 8 this year. One of the better rebounders in the ACC.
Well, I just love what he brings, too. Besides scoring and rebounding, he's like a Swiss Army knife. He does a little bit of everything on the court. He brings hustle, he brings energy and effort. He's a guy that every team would want to have on their team.
And I love stories like Trayvon Spillers. He played his freshman year at South Carolina Salkehatchie. Then he was a junior college first-team All-American at Moberly Community College before getting his first Division I opportunity at Appalachian State. And now he is a really good performer in the ACC. I love the improvement, love the climb.
I think guys like that, they don't take anything for granted. They were born in the grind, right, so to speak, the basketball grind. So everything that he's getting now at Wake Forest, he's just taking it in and running with it.
From Charleston, South Carolina, bad pass from Edwards. Perhaps thinking Cross was going to ease his way into the corner. And the Mustangs turn it back over to the Deeks.
I think he's a perfect matchup for Matt Cross. Matt Cross is a good inside-out player, but Spillers is a great athlete. He's mobile, he's agile, and he's able to stick with Cross.
Cross has had a quiet night so far. Sallis inside to Reid. Immediate double team from the perimeter. Swing it around to the corner. Juke Harris off the mark. Chuck Harris for SMU gives to Oquendo, and with a full head of steam, he can get to the rack as well as anybody.
And these are the opportunities that SMU has to be able to create. Long rebound, they're getting out playing fast, almost a semi-transition opportunity. Oquendo, great job of just attacking off that first pass, getting to the rim.
Tied again at 36. We've got a foul at the other end.
Long rebounds, getting out in transition, getting easy early opportunities. Great job by SMU attacking the basket.
Well, every time, Eric, Oquendo has an opening to the basket in transition, I hold my breath because I think he's going to dunk on somebody.
Well, he's like a freight train, Doug. He's 225 pounds, so if he's coming downhill at you, you're either going to get out the way or take a charge and be feeling it the next 4 days.
Well, he has been on SportsCenter's top 10 8 times during his college career, and his favorite was dunking on one of the Tennessee Volunteers during his days at Georgia. But he just laid that one in. Now, what's this discussion about with the officials? Maybe a late sub. By the way, Yigatolu was called for his third personal foul, so that's quite a development to keep our eyes on here, Eric.
Well, it just makes SMU a little bit more one-dimensional. They can't go inside to him if he's out of the game, and then it just turns them into a more perimeter-oriented team.
So they've changed the foul on Chuck Harris, so that is good for SMU that it is not on Yigatolu. So he still has 2. And Chuck Harris, the senior from Ashburn, Virginia, who spent 3 years at Butler, is called for the personal, and that sends Tyler Johnson to the line.
And look, Doug, if SMU is not going to get out and play fast like they did on that last possession, they have to be able to try to find a way to cement the ball in the post down low. You saw early on in the first half when he went for the double, made a great decision passing it to the cutter. He's capable of passing, and he's capable of scoring down there.
Getting to the NCAA tournament for both of these teams would be huge. These are not programs that have gone a lot, relatively speaking, in their history. SMU's only been 12 times, most recently in 2017 as we get a double dribble. And for Wake Forest, they've gone 23 times, but just once since 2010. That's now 8 years ago.
Well, both teams, Wake Forest, great history, SMU, great history, both put guys into the NBA. So being able to get over that hump and get into the NCAA tournament would just be a huge thing for both of these programs.
SMU 19-5 on the year. Wake Forest 18-7 coming into the day. Sallis kicks it back out to Johnson. Time on the shot clock down to 5. Johnson, like a blur, banks it in off the window.
Tyler Johnson, we talked about his ability to get by and get to the rim, but how about on that previous possession defensively, talking about the Boopie Miller effect, not being in the game. Good job ball pressure and B.J. Edwards causing the turnover on that previous possession.
Boopie is out with a left foot bruise. They are hoping he's out for just about a week. It's a precautionary move.
Doug, I think Johnson's a guy that Wake Forest just needs to step up, make good decisions, take more pressure off of Sallis, and then when Hildreth comes back, take more pressure off of him, having to make all the decisions.
Sallis with a beautiful feed. Senior to freshman for the dunk by Juke Harris. Largest lead of the ball game for Wake Forest, up 6.
Defensively, great job making decisions on the offensive side of the ball and then being aggressive towards the basket.
So after giving up 6 unanswered points, how does SMU respond? They go inside to Yigatolu, lets the second defender go by, missed the first layup, kicks the second, and he'll have a chance for 3.
It's what SMU has to do. They have to be able to get the ball inside, create that inside out. Great job finding him on the cut. Cement just going in the rim, continue to work, playing hard, finishing opportunity for the and one. SMU has to continue to feed him, create opportunities for him at the rim, and then when they come with the double, you create opportunities for the shots and drives to the basket from the guards.
Foul number 2 on Spillers, who gets the defensive rebound. Wake has scored on 5 of its 6 possessions to start the half. Here is Sallis from the side. SMU down by 4 with the basketball. On the switch, Tyler Johnson giving up a lot of size and is going to be called for the foul, trying to check the 6'7", 230-pound Matt Cross.
Yeah, just got caught in a mismatch right there, but now you see Parker Friedrichsen coming back in. SMU has to be aware of Friedrichsen on the court, which helps out guys like Sallis and Juke Harris trying to attack the rim.
Johnson takes a seat with his 3 personal fouls. Sallis has done a really good job so far tonight. 5 assists, along with his scoring and rebounding. He has 1 off his season high in assists, 2 off his career high. Chuck Harris through the legs, behind the back. Parker Friedrichsen trying to stay with him. Soaring for the rebound is Juke Harris, who'll dribble it up.
Wake Forest just doing a great job of being active, helping and then getting back to their defender. SMU's getting into situations where they're having a lot of ISO play right now.
Sallis at the point. Whistle and a foul off the ball. This time the roles were reversed. Cross was the smaller man and he gets called for the foul. And here, paint my face orange and blue. You got to do it.
If you do, you have to do it at least once or twice. I never did it. I was out on the court playing, but I saw a lot of people who did.
Wake Forest has been a little better in the second half on this end. Take the 4-point lead. Efton Reid takes his time into the lane. Soft shot that just didn't fall. Harris there to clean it up.
Doug, what Harris has been doing a great job is just being active on both ends of the floor. He's doing a good job cutting offensively, being on the offensive board, and just being available when the ball is there.
Chuck Harris turning the corner, hangs in the air, banks it home. Wow. President Bush, no doubt impressed. Sallis left alone and he buries the 3.
Tough finish by Chuck Harris on one end, but you have to be able to get back. Didn't get back, and even the miss right there by Juke Harris, it created an opportunity for Sallis to get that 3-point shot off an offensive rebound, knocking it down.
After the Sallis make, Chuck Harris has his 3 rim out. Sallis leads all scorers with 15. Chuck Harris for SMU has 13. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Spillers finds a gap in the lane and puts it up and in.
You see SMU went to a little zone right there. That middle was wide open. Where do you want to attack the zone? Free throw line area, short corner area. I know a little bit about the zone, Doug.
Yes, you do. Friedrichsen with the steal, and he lays it in. The lead grows to 11 thanks to 7 unanswered points by the Demon Deacons. What a lift off the
court. Your teammates feed off of that energy.
And you see top 15 in the country in opponent field goal percentage, under 40%, second best in the ACC. We are seeing that effort right now by the Demon Deacons, making it tough on SMU with under 10 on the shot clock. Blocking foul. Just the 4th team foul, so a non-shooting foul.
I'll tell you what, Doug, great job. I thought it was a charge, but defensively, Wake Forest, this is how they want SMU to play in half court. They're scrambling, they're taking tough shots, and yes, they have guys who can make those tough shots, but you can't sustain a basketball game making those tough shots every single possession. You have to get some easy opportunities, and Wake's doing a good job of just making it tough every single possession.
Good to see Cross get right back up. Remember, he's been dealing with a back injury he suffered on the very first game of the season. There, the defense caught napping just into the game. A.J. George with the easy layup for SMU.
And those are the type of plays you just want to get yourself go back into the game, get going a little bit more.
Sallis using the screen from Reid. Behind the back, driving on Edwards. Into traffic, no. Long rebound. Comes to SMU. Mustangs with numbers. Harris kicks it back out to George. 4 quick points off the bench for the SMU reserve.
And Doug, why that last possession was a bad shot for Wake Forest, because a tough shot like that gives SMU an opportunity to get out and play fast like you saw. Wake Forest has to be able to execute and get cleaner looks.
Harris attacks, tough shot. Cross stood his ground, and we've got a foul that'll go the other way. A big stop for the SMU defense.
Now you see the SMU crowd, the energy is back into it a little bit more. I think offensively, when SMU is stagnant, they come back on the other end and don't have as much activity defensively. They can't let what happens offensively affect what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. They have to continue to fly around and be active.
Eric, that's the second foul on Efton Reid. Cross sets the screen. Edwards guarded by Harris. Great patience to get to the left hand.
And this is what makes these guards for SMU so good. Wake Forest is doing a great job playing D, keeping bodies in front, but great footwork by Edwards, keeping the play alive, reversing, and then finishing with the left hand. And then look at him active right here. Energy on offense, bringing it to the defensive side of the ball.
Friedrichsen going to be called for the foul, and George will head to the line. It's a 6-0 run by SMU to get right back in it. So you've got so much riding on the outcome of this game, not just for the ACC tournament, but as Joe Lunardi said, both of these teams are among his first 4 out, and the winner of this game, he says, goes back into the field of 68.
Well, those first 3, Louisville, Clemson, and Duke, unless something drastic happens, they pretty much locked in for the NCAA tournament. These other teams are still trying to play to get into the NCAA tournament. Yes, they want to get the double bye in the ACC tournament, but they're thinking bigger. They have to win games to stay alive to be in the NCAA tournament.
A.J. George, instant offense, 6 of the 8 points scored in this 8-0 SMU run. Friedrichsen steps back for 3. And he gets the roll.
Well, how about George and Friedrichsen? 2 guys stepping up, taking advantage of the opportunity that's given to them. These are how guys get extended minutes going forward into the season.
Cross from way downtown. Friedrichsen active on the defensive end again for the long rebound. Well, Fredricksen's career high in scoring was 19 last season against NJIT. He's got 14 off the bench, getting extended minutes tonight in place of Cam Hildreth. Sallis playing with 3 fouls. Somebody's going to have to put up a shot here in the final 3 seconds before the timer. It's Duke Harris now. Nice job by Sallis to grab another rebound, his 8th of the night.
Parker Friedrichsen just stepping up and taking advantage of the opportunity. A guy who hasn't been shooting the ball well all year makes a good move to create separation and then gets the shooter's roll. Great to see a guy like him come out of a slump and just take advantage of the opportunity that Coach Forbes has given him.
And so now Hunter Sallis at the line, whose mom, Jessica Haynes Jackson, was a Nebraska High School Basketball Hall of Famer who then played at San Diego State. And she also played in the WNBA with the Utah Stars. And Hunter's mom, who stands 6 feet tall, she was among the women who could dunk. And so that is one of the big influences for Cam Hildreth, first team All-ACC player.
in the blood, Doug. It's in the bloodline.
Sallis will get a blow, playing with those 3 fouls. Spiller's back out there for Wake. Tyler Johnson also back on the floor. And the foul, by the way, was on Yigatolu for SMU, his 3rd. He's out of the game. Colbert has returned. Edwards, good closeout by Johnson. And Juke Harris has it for Wake Forest.
These are the shots that you could get at any single time, but SMU, if they're going to pound the basketball like that, they have to continue to move off the ball to try to create clear and more clean opportunities at the rim.
Bad pass from Spillers right into the hands of the Mustangs. Edwards, and a foul called against Friedrichsen, it looks like. Parker not so sure. And indeed it is on Parker Friedrichsen, who tells me his favorite sport is golf. He's from a golfing family. He's pretty good, but apparently he's got a younger brother who's even better.
Doug, I'm terrible at golf. I'm terrible at golf. I want to learn how to play and be better. Then I could make, fake business calls on the golf course. And
well, his younger brother is in junior college, probably going to be a Division I golfer before too long. And Parker says he's become spoiled as a student athlete at Wake Forest. He plays only at Old Town, which is the Wake Forest course, and it is beautiful. Of course, when you talk about Wake Forest golf, you have to mention Arnold Palmer.
He was one of the greats. Again, in Syracuse, I don't know what that's like. I live right down the street from a golf course, and there's 2 feet of snow right now, so I don't see anybody playing golf right now in upstate New York.
Just don't use a white ball. Get an orange ball, and you can find it, right?
Exactly.
56-50, Wake Forest with a basketball and a 6-point lead. Sallis back into the game, working the baseline, now coming out to get the pass on the left wing. Reid hits the floor, and he's holding his right ankle. He lost his shoe in the exchange. A.J. George called for his first. And that is the 5th on the Mustangs. Wake Forest with 7 fouls here, 10.5 minutes into the second.
Yeah, you see right there, the left foot, he just kind of stepped awkwardly on it, and I guess it was the right shoe that came off. It looks like he's all right.
Well, A.J. George is, Eric, taking advantage of the opportunity to play. Again, Boopie Miller is out for SMU, so Andy Enfield using some guys for extended minutes, and George has been good offense with 6 points here in the last 5 minutes. He was a key player for an NCAA tournament team last year for Long Beach State. He averaged over 10 per game, so that's just another weapon that they got out of the portal. So as we go into the final 3 weeks of the regular season, he may wind up playing a key role.
And again, you don't want to have guys be injured, especially your top players. But what it does do is create opportunities for these guys who would probably not play and show what they're capable of doing.
5 to shoot. Sallis being hounded by George. Able to get the shot on the rim, and Spillers pulls it back out to the perimeter.
Wake Forest has to find a way to get easier shots at the rim.
Friedrichsen will head to the line. The folks here at Moody not so sure. Either Oquendo or Colbert called for the foul.
It's funny what confidence does for a basketball player. Last game, Parker Friedrichsen would have been passing that basketball. Now he hits a few shots. Now his confidence is up. Now he's driving the basketball, drawing the foul opportunity to make 2.
They got Oquendo for his 2nd.
And Doug, I mean, confidence is something else in the game of basketball or any sport. 2 games ago, or even a game ago, Parker Friedrichsen, he would have pump fake and passed that ball away. He hit a few shots. He got going, his confidence up a little bit. Now he's looking to attack the rim and get to the basket. That's not even what he does. But he's just making something happen, being aggressive with the basketball in his hands.
The young man who originally committed to Mike Bray at Notre Dame before he was let go by the Fighting Irish and then signed with Wake Forest, gets 1 out of 2. The Wake lead is 7.
Wake back into a little bit of zone action. See, this is what Wake wants SMU to play: stagnant, a little bit slower, closing up the driving lanes, not giving them clean looks.
SMU averages 83 points per game, well off that pace right now. As again, Wake Forest has had the tempo it has wanted most of the night, right, Eric?
Well, this tempo the whole game is favoring Wake Forest. But if Wake Forest is going to zone, you have to put a guy at the free throw line who can score the basketball, and they put the guy who could do it, Matt Cross, but he has to turn and face the rim and look to be aggressive. You can't just catch the ball and pass it back out. Turn and be a threat, look to make a play.
Edwards misses the front end. Ball goes out of bounds. Who's got it? SMU. After the third foul on Spillers, SMU couldn't cash in at the line, but they keep possession of the basketball.
And for these last 8 minutes and 33 seconds, SMU is going to have to junk it up a little bit. They're going to have to get on the floor, get those loose balls, get offensive rebounds, putbacks. Right now, Wake Forest is doing a good job of just making every single shot tough for this SMU team.
Cross defended by Spillers. Oquendo with an air ball. Here comes Tyler Johnson, one of the fastest with the dribble in the ACC. Good job SMU to get back in transition.
And SMU did a good job of getting back, but Wake Forest is okay with playing in this half-court set.
Ooh, Sallis trying to dunk on Oquendo, who's called for the blocking foul. Sallis at the Sports Center #1 top dunk on Wednesday, a twisting slam against Florida State. He was thinking about da-da-da, da-da-da again.
And if you're going to attack the rim, Doug, and attempt to dunk on somebody, do it like that, being aggressive. Even if you miss it, the refs more likely or not are just going to give you that foul call just for how aggressive you went.
Did you ever make Sports Center top 10?
Not dunking the basketball, but laying it up really, really nice.
Well, the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational continues Sunday morning as 4th-ranked UCLA meets Virginia at 10 a.m. Eastern right here on ACC Network. SMU down 8, just over 8 minutes to go in the second half.
Wake Forest extending that 2-3 zone out a little bit. There's gaps in the zone. You just got to be able to get into those areas.
Cross from the short corner, back out to Oquendo. Edwards, Oquendo, up, no. Good hustle to track down the offensive rebound and extend the possession. Edwards, no. Fight for it. Friedrichsen able to get it for Wake, and here comes Sallis to Johnson. He finds the trailing Reid, who is fouled. And Efton Reid down on the floor one more time. So now Efton Reid, who was named for his maternal grandfather, Efton, very close to his mom, Maria, back in Richmond. Steve Forbes was very smart to recruit Mom when he was convincing young Efton to transfer from Gonzaga. If you get Mom, you're apt to get the kid.
Exactly. If you get Mom, you're all good.
So you see the 4 fouls now on Yigitolu after the flagrant 1, and possession stays with Wake Forest underneath. 23 seconds are up on the shot clock.
Doug, you got to give credit to Reid. I think he's been doing a great job on cement, just being physical and really taking him out of this ballgame.
Yeah, after a double-double in Tuesday's win over Pittsburgh, Yigitolu is at a very quiet night. Cross tied up with Sallis. Hunter Sallis, 18 points, 8 rebounds, a season-high 6 assists, has been all over the floor on both ends, Eric.
And he's really stepped up just being aggressive. He's not shooting the ball particularly well, but he's been to the free throw line 12 times, and he's going after every single rebound, just being aggressive. You're going to create opportunities just by being aggressive to the ball. Hunter Sallis has been all over tonight.
And with that, Eric, he has Wake outscoring SMU in the second half 28-16. At halftime, SMU held a slim 2-point lead. Cross trying to hook up inside with Colbert, and they can't connect.
And honestly, Doug, this zone just has SMU confused. You're not going to post a guy up in the mid-post right there when you got a guy in the middle. You have to get a guy in the free throw line, try to get some high-low action. Then when the defense comes in, kick out to your shooters. Either have an open shot or play off the scramble.
What does the Syracuse guy know about the zone?
I know a little bit. I know the two areas in the zone where it's most effective.
Parker Friedrichsen playing perhaps his best game of the season, largely in place of the injured Cam Hildreth. Here's Tyler Johnson to the high post, finds Spillers, extra pass to the corner. Friedrichsen off the bounce, give him 3 more.
How about Parker Friedrichsen? And Wake Forest shows you how to play against the zone. Cut to the high post, got the defense to suck in, kicked out to the corner. Friedrichsen, one of the best shooters on the floor, knocking it down. He's having an unbelievable night.
18 points, one off his career high, including his 4th made triple of the night.
It was a great job initially by Spiller, kicking it out to Friedrichsen, pump fake side dribble, knocking it down again. Confidence is something else. When you're feeling good, you're doing stuff that you normally wouldn't be doing on the basketball court. Friedrichsen obviously the shooter, but we saw him doing more things defensively, attacking the rim. Great job stepping up tonight by Parker Friedrichsen.
And I shortchanged him. He's got 5 made threes for those 18 points. B.J. Edwards makes the front end. Wake has 7 wins this year, Eric, when trailing at halftime. This would be the 8th, coming back from only 2 down, but they've been a better second half team. Coach Forbes' club trying to bounce back from that awful loss on Wednesday to Florida State to move ahead of SMU into 4th place in the ACC.
Well, we talked about what type of coach Coach Forbes is. He's aggressive, he's tough, he's hard-nosed, and that's how Wake Forest is playing. They're aggressive to every single ball. They're getting on the floor. They're gritty. And now this is what SMU is going to have to do if they want to get back in the game. Pressure the ball full court and try to create some turnovers.
Harris knocks it away from Sallis. And that's a 10-second violation. Terrific pressure from the Mustangs.
This is how SMU has to be able to get in the back in the game. 6 minutes left. They have to try to create turnovers, get out and play fast. Now, if they're in half court against a set defense in the zone, they have to figure out how to put somebody in that high post and create offense in that high post area.
And, you know, this is about the point in the game against Florida State on Wednesday when things went sideways for Wake Forest. They had control of that game, and it just fell apart.
And I know Coach Forbes is telling his team that.
Edwards, cross, Oquendo. Harris around the perimeter for SMU. Colbert inside. Shot clock down to 3. Oquendo, tough shot, and the whistle comes. If it was on the initial shot, the whistle came late. We've got a 2-shot foul coming from John Gaffney. It's going to be on Hunter Sallis, his 4th.
Well, really, SMU didn't have anything. Wake Forest was switching everything from the guard position, but Oquendo just using his strength, getting through the contact, creating the foul, and opportunity at the line.
Big miss for the senior from Titusville, Florida.
But again, Doug, this whole game, SMU really hasn't had any clean opportunities at the rim. Everything has been tough at the rim, on the perimeter. Wake Forest has just been flying around, being active defensively.
And they've gotten next to nothing out of Samet Yigatolu, who was so good in Tuesday's win over Pittsburgh. He's only got 3 points, not on the floor now. Inside, Spiller at position. And he lays it in. Trayvon Spillers now with 8 points as Yigatolu watches from the Mustangs bench.
And now with Yigatolu out of the game, one less offensive threat for Wake Forest to go against.
Edwards misfires. Spillers tracks down the rebound.
And you got to know there's going to be games where you're just not hitting shots. So when a guy like Igutolo isn't in the game, you have no inside presence, you're not hitting jump shots, you're not creating turnovers, every shot is going to be tough on the offensive side.
SMU has won 5 in a row and 8 of its last 9, but up against it here tonight. Big three-point opportunity for Tyler Johnson.
Well, there's 2 guys that are really standing out today for Wake Forest. And one of those guys is Tyler Johnson. He's been doing a great job taking care of the ball, making good decisions, getting into the paint, and just created opportunities for himself and his teammates. Parker Friedrichsen and Tyler Johnson have really stepped up and took advantage of these opportunities with Cam Hill just being out of the ballgame.
Here's Tyler Johnson, the 6-foot sophomore from Brooklyn, New York. That was the second foul on Edwards, as Johnson has given a nice lift and again trying to fill some of the void for Steve Forbes without Hildreth.
Well, last game against Florida State, he kind of had that head-scratching shot at the end of the game where he took a deep 3 with 11 seconds left on the shot. For him to come in and play like this against a great SMU team, it just shows what the type of player he is and what type of character he has.
And how about that drought you just saw on the bottom half of your screen, going on nearly 8 minutes without a bucket for SMU. And seemingly in the blink of an eye, it's a 15-point Demon Deacons lead. Johnson starting to feel it. Tyler Johnson makes it 70-53 Wake Forest. Johnson, he's got 9 points in the second half, 9 of his 12 as they have extended this lead. Wake trailed early by as many as 10 as the Mustangs came out on fire, but their offense has ever since been ground to a halt. Foul on the entry pass from Harris to Igutolo. That's the third on Efton Reid. And so the big man, 7'2", 265 pounds, who has been authoritative, decisive. Not so much today, but he's been putting together a really good freshman season here in Dallas. Tonight, after we wrap things up here in Dallas, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every game and look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule for next week. And no surprise, Duke added another win today, blowing out Stanford 106-70. And I saw some of the analytics that earlier today ESPN says Duke is the odds-on favorite to win the national title in spite of the fact that Auburn is still the consensus #1 team after beating Alabama today.
Well, how about John Shire and the job he's done since getting that Duke job? I mean, he's recruiting all the right players in an era where everyone is kind of like me, me, me. He's got guys who just want to go in and win games. He has a generational talent. He has shooters. But most importantly, they're probably top 2 defensive team in the country.
Yeah. Tyler Johnson to the corner. Spillers open. Well short. Gets his own miss. And Sallis will pull it out. Yeah, John Shire told me earlier this year that the 3 guys they brought in the transfer portal who fit perfectly, quote, they're all over themselves. They've gotten over themselves. They just want to win. They want to be part of something special there in Durham.
And I think now when you're recruiting the transfer portal, it's so important to recruit high-character guys who want to come in and add value to the team, not a guy who wants to come in and, hey, how can I up my NIL? It's hard to do that, and John Shire has done a great job of putting the team together.
Shot clock violation on the air ball by Reid. Gives it back to SMU. You see the drought now pushing 9 minutes for the ACC's top scoring team. Finally, Matt Cross gets the Mustangs back on the board. Under 3 minutes to go.
But even with that make, look how far that shot was. I mean, these are all hard shots that SMU's taken. And teams playing SMU going forward, they're going to look at this film. They're going to see how Wake Forest played in the zone. And SMU is going to have to figure out a way how to attack the zone. Get the guy in the high post, have a short corner, and then be able to have shooters around the perimeter.
Oquendo off the Sallis miss. takes a hard foul from Spillers before the shot. A couple of grown men matching up there at high speed.
Yeah, seeing Oquendo in person, that's a big boy right there. That's a linebacker right now at the free throw line, and the way he moves, the way he can get to the basket, change direction, and shoot the basketball. He's a heck of a player for SMU, but Wake Forest has just done a great job of making it hard every single possession for this SMU team.
Oquendo will be replaced if he makes the free throws. A.J. George awaits at the scorer's table.
And Doug, I don't want to say the game's over. There's still 2:30 left. SMU only down 12, but they have to do something quickly, cause turnovers, get some opportunities in transition, and then try to be able to make some three-pointers.
And the Deeks certainly in no hurry. Tyler Johnson takes a look at the clock. Friedrichsen back to Reid, and now the Demon Deacons have to go. Reid, the turnaround. Doesn't get the roll. It's a key stop for SMU with 2 minutes on the clock.
And they have to be decisive right now.
Oquendo decisive with the three ball. SMU back to within 9. Would put whichever team comes away victorious into the field of 68. The other with even more work to do. Both sides will have work to do, but this is a big one.
And there's still a lot of season left, so anything can really happen. But each game going forward for both of these teams means a lot.
There goes Johnson. Dump it off Spillers. And the foul is called.
Such a difference in Tyler Johnson and how he's playing today. He's getting in the paint. He's playing off of 2 feet. He's in control, and he's making the right decision.
It's a kick ball, not a foul. Correct on that. Reid got the layup off the nice feed from Spillers. That snaps an 8-0 Mustangs run.
How about Efton Reid? He's almost been like the X factor today for Wake Forest. Hasn't scored a lot, but done a great job defensively on cement. And just his presence on the court has really helped this Wake Forest team.
Spillers is just fouled out as we take a look at Reid doing it again inside.
There's a great high-low by Spiller. Good job of getting into the paint and then just making the easy dump to Reid, who finished at the rim.
So Spillers is out. Sallis and Johnson for Wake still playing with their 4 fouls. Igatolu's got 4 fouls for SMU. And so the freshman who got the start tonight comes back onto the floor. Juke Harris starting in place of the injured Cam Hildreth, who had been playing so well for Wake. We hope he's able to make it back sooner than later. Last 4 games, Hildreth had gone for 20 or more points. And they're going to need him down the stretch.
Well, Doug, when a guy like Hildreth is out of the game, you need guys to come together collectively and really help you out, whether it's 6 points here, 8 points there. And even look at a guy like Juke Harris. He's come in, give you 7 points, 5 rebounds, and then you add in what Tyler Johnson's doing in Parker Friedrichsen. You're really making up for that absence of Hildreth.
Foul given against Reid in the backcourt. I'm not sure what he said to us.
Well, I didn't even know he came over, but he's having fun.
I look up and there's a 7-foot man with his mouthpiece in his hand saying something to us, and I'm not sure what he was saying.
Oh, you love to see guys smiling and having fun.
Yep.
Basketball is a fun game. It's a competitive game, and yes, you're going to have some emotions high, but man, we all grew up playing this game that we love, and these guys are lucky to be on this stage at this level playing the game of basketball.
Well, we knew coming in it would be a battle of wills, the SMU offense against the Wake Forest defense. And Wake's defense at this point has been better. You know, #1 in the ACC in 3-point percentage defense, #3 in the ACC in block shots, and they have made it tough on SMU all night long.
Well, and offensively, they haven't been great, but they've been aggressive. They've been attacking the rim. They've been getting to the free throw line. They've been getting second chance opportunities. And then defensively, the activity and the energy has been there throughout the whole game.
Oquendo from the corner. Cross has it, saves it out to Harris. Edwards tries. Down goes Hunter Sallis as he tripped over Cross, who was on the floor. Good to see Sallis right back up.
We just see Sallis the whole game. He's just been aggressive. He's 6'5", but he's going in there like he's 7 foot. Offensive rebound, defensive rebound, it doesn't matter. He's just been super aggressive. And again, he hasn't been really efficient shooting the ball, but he's just given himself an opportunity going to the free throw line. 14 attempts tonight.
A young man who joined the 1,000-point club against Western Carolina way back in November. Came into this game third in the ACC in scoring. He has surpassed his season average now with 19. And as you said, Eric, in spite of the fact that he's not shot it well from the floor.
When you're not shooting the ball well, what do? You put your head down and get downhill and try to get opportunities at the rim.
From the logo, standing on the S in SMU, Cross with another deep three.
Really, Wake Forest has taken Matt Cross out of this game for the most part.
Juke with the flush. And that will be the exclamation point. Edwards tries to get it back to Cross. And at this point, just academic. Into the backcourt. It's an over and back violation. And the ball goes back to the Demon Deacons.
What a win for Coach Forbes and Wake Forest. Really without their best player. I mean, we obviously Hunter Sallis, but what Cam Hildreth does on the floor, you can't replace that. The hustle, the heart, the energy, improved offensively. What a way for these other guys to step up and show that they're capable of bringing value to the team.
For the 13th time this year, Hunter Sallis has reached the 20-point plateau. That, along with 9 rebounds and 6 assists, helps lead Wake Forest to a huge road victory here tonight.
Wake Forest just aggressive activity.